Recently, there's been a ton of debate on gun control and how it's affecting the minds of America. There have been a big influx of school shootings, mall shootings, pretty much anywhere there are a lot of people, there's been some sick-minded individual who wants to make a name for himself. Before we get into guns, I want to say that a really good way of stopping something like this is to take away that disgusting person's notoriety. Believe it or not, some people just want to be infamous, and an easy way to do that is to take guns into a school and all of a sudden you're the Cascade School shooter. Honestly, we shouldn't give these people names. They don't deserve to be immortalized like that. Their names shouldn't be hidden, but enough of this. And to be honest, the news is a huge influence in this very issue. Screw the news. We want a top story. We don't care who got hurt, what happened. So long as it's juicy, I want to tell it. You guys are worthless slime. Now let me talk about gun control. Guns, at least in America, have been a constitutional right since the country was founded. Guns allow for sport shooting like plinking, target practice, hunting of any sort, and they can be really fun. Now I don't use guns much at all. I only own 3 because they were passed down to me, but I'm going to tell you right now that I believe having a gun in your home will not only keep you safer, but make you less of a target for psychos who want a name. Let me try to illustrate this real quick because I feel like this argument is made a lot, and not made very well. There are a lot of ducks in Oregon. How do we solve this? More ducks. But guns are very different, and person to person, we all should know how to handle them responsibly. Now let's say for a second that you wanted to murder a large group of people. Go with me on this, I know it's a dark subject, but let's just say that you do. There are 2 apartments right in front of you. One is maintained by 2 old ladies who have never touched a weapon, and the other is housed by ex-Marines who implore everyone staying there to own a firearm. Which apartment do you target? Well, any logical individual would pick the apartment with the less risk. And when it comes to schools, people ask these shooters why they chose to target this school, or even this theater, or this mall, and they will say, well, I knew nobody had a weapon. Guns are not allowed on this campus, so I knew that there would be no resistance. Now this is kind of sad when you think about it. These murderous, evil people are smart enough to do research. They take their lives into consideration when it comes to this horrible act. And the crazy thing is, our government wants to take guns not only away from schools, but everyone. If there are no guns, then nobody will be able to do harm. But making guns illegal is not going to change anything, except for us law-abiding citizens won't have them, and people who want to kill mass groups will. And before you ask, well, how do you know people will get a hold of guns? Cocaine is illegal, heroin is illegal, meth is illegal, and let me tell you something, it's all over the place. Sure, us law-abiding citizens don't have any, but guess who does? Trust me, it won't be hard for these people to continue to do whatever they want to do. The only difference is that I won't be able to save myself. Now, I don't tote a gun around for safety, but I do have guns in my house. If someone tried to break in, all I would ever have to do is pump that shotgun. Trust me, the guy wouldn't stick around. But if I just sat there and yelled, I'm calling the cops, I cannot tell you how frequently that will not work. Now, how do I know that? Every horror story you see on the news, or read about, or hear on those creepy true horror YouTube channels always starts with, I told the guy that I was calling the cops, and that's when he broke through the door. Calling the cops doesn't scare anybody away. It's only when the cops show up do people leave. And you know why? The cops have guns. The cops could potentially kill them. And to be honest here, if you had that power, they wouldn't mess with you either. Now I'm going to bring up another point. Many claim that countries that don't have guns are safer. Now that is not exactly a false statement, but it is also not entirely true either. Out of the top 10 safest countries in the world, only 2 of them do not allow guns. That's Australia and Japan. Now that's great. Australia and Japan do not allow guns, and their people are safer, right? Well, Brazil doesn't allow guns, and it's one of the most dangerous places to live on the entire planet. So that's not exactly down to a science. However, Switzerland is another one of the safest places to live, and Switzerland implores all of its residents to have a protective firearm, and it works very well. However, that's not an exact science either, because the United States has the most guns per capita as of 2013, and look what's happening here. Having and not having guns is not the issue. I don't care whether or not you abstain from guns. If you do, that's fine, and if you don't, that's fine as well. I never use the guns I have. I go target practicing every now and then, but besides that, I don't go hunting or plinking. Nor do I have a gun by my bed in case an intruder breaks in, but I do feel that large campuses, malls, and other well-populated targets should be safer. If I'm going to a college and I'm giving thousands of dollars a year to this college, I expect to be safe at that school, not worried about death because they won't allow guns on the campus. Maybe go to schools where guns are allowed and see if criminals target those ones too. I'll bet you they don't. It's too easy these days to kill large groups of people on a whim. These sick human trash want to make a name for themselves, and all they have to do is take a weapon to a campus where those weapons weren't allowed. And if I went to a campus and started shooting at students and all of a sudden they were firing back, I would not be sitting pretty. But this is not my call. The government is going to do whatever it's going to do, and in the end, we also, as a country, have a choice to have guns or not. But I think it should be a person-to-person decision. We live in a free country, don't we? Shouldn't we be allowed to make a decision as a free individual who has different opinions than the next guy? If you agree with guns being taken away, I have nothing against you, but that should be your right. You don't have to buy guns, but I do not believe that you have the right to take someone else's away. That is a childish point of view. Your mother asks you if you want ice cream and you say no. Your brother says yes, but you and your mother decided that since you said no, he doesn't get ice cream either. Free country, guys.